So basically, it activates it. Check. Testing 1, 2. Sound check 1, 2. Check. Testing 1, 2. Check. Testing 1, 2. Check. Testing 1, 2. Sound check 1, 2.
Boys and girls affiliated with the eligible member/youth organization in Richland County are eligible to exhibit subject to the rules of their respective organizations. Tampering or altering of an official junior fair document will result in immediate loss of all junior fair exhibition, showing, sale, and participation in extracurricular activities and junior fair privileges. The Richland County Junior Fair Board, with guidance from the Richland County Agricultural Society, reserves the final and absolute right to interpret all junior fair rules and regulations and to settle and determine all matters, questions, or differences in regard thereto. It further reserves the right to determine unforeseen matter not covered by these rules, to amend or add to these rules as in its judgment deems necessary. All decisions of the Junior Fair Board are final, with Richland County Agricultural Society Board approval. The Junior Fair Board has the right and responsibility to determine how all junior fair shows and activities are operated and governed for the benefit of all exhibitors. Any grievances concerning junior fair shows, activities, or events are to be formally submitted in writing by the person affected or the parent/guardian with name signed to the Junior Fair Board. Grievances regarding infractions of junior fair rules must be submitted in writing to the Junior Fair Board President. Ownership of project animals, including leasing for saddle horses, must be in place and the project animal to be in the continual care of the exhibitor no later than June 1st of the current year. After June 1st, owners of project animals that has been lost due to death, injury, theft, etc., sold, consigned through the auction, changed by any other type of transaction, or declared ineligible to the exhibit at the fair shall be given the opportunity to exhibit a poster project in the junior fair. Tampering and or misinterpretation as to the breeding, age, animal qualifications, Ownership and any other irregularities of an animal for showing or sale will be considered fraud and deception. Appropriate action will be taken by the Junior Fair Board, Senior Fair Board, Junior Fair Adjudication Committee, and/or Ohio Department of Agriculture officials. Cell phones cannot be used, including incoming and outgoing calls, gaming, web searching, and texting, during quality assurance clinics, the judging process, including the holding area, the sale process, including the lineup, or during any competitive events where the exhibitor is a participant in the event. In order to participate in the livestock sale, an exhibitor must have an appropriately completed entry on file by the deadline and must show in an official junior fair class. Note, showmanship, all livestock other than horses, does not qualify as an official class. Livestock exhibitors are required to check in with show team officials to verify their animal's ear tag number or species age/tag before entering the show and sale ring. Livestock class participants will receive a first and second call. After the second call, the class will be closed. Coaching from the sidelines is not permitted during junior fair activities. No person shall distract, give advice, prompt, and/or coach exhibitors while they're actively participating in any junior fair event or competition. Exhibitors are required to wear neat, clean, and appropriate clothes for interview, show, sale activity. You must wear a sleeved collared shirt that must remain tucked in. Outside shirts may remain tucked in, and long pants or shirt for livestock show, sale, and picture. There will be no exposed shoulders, cleavage, or exposed midriff permitted. Clothing requirements must be followed in showmanship as well as market and breeding shows, classes, and sale day. See show day only dress code for specific species requirements. No tennis shoes will be permitted in any of the following species or livestock: cattle, swine, feeder calf, horses, steer, sheep, alpaca, and/or llamas. Specific requirements for shoe for all livestock show sale events is that the entire foot must be covered. Only show team members with a designated position and wearing official show badges shall be permitted in the show ring before during a junior fair, a show or activity. An exhibitor plus family or designee shall have no formal or informal communication with a junior fair judge prior to the fair show or in the show ring/arena during a show where the exhibitor is participating. Animals shall not be put under stress by the exhibitor while in the show or sale ring, including but not limited to pinching of the chest, slapping of the sides of the animal, and icing down an animal prior to show or sale, including use of ice towels, which is for sheep only. No participant shall unethically fit their own or another exhibitor animal's entry. In regards to grooming, the junior fair exhibitor must assume the majority of the work and must be presented in a learning mode. No other than immediate family, current junior fair board exhibitors, and registered advisors of the Richland County program can help in getting the animals ready during the fair. If another person other than the exhibitor is to assist with grooming, then the junior fair exhibitor fair exhibitors are supposed to comply with all barn rules and are expected to take care of the animals on a daily basis. Junior fair exhibitors must be present to care, show, and sell their animal projects throughout the fair week. No parent or individual other than another junior fair exhibitor is permitted to show and/or sell a junior fair project. If an exhibitor is physically unable to show or sell his or her animal, they must have prior approval from the junior fair superintendent or other designated extension officials. All junior fair exhibitions shown and or run through the sale ring by another exhibitor must be reported to the junior fair office prior to the start of the show and or sale. Awards will not be presented to winners in the show ring due to COVID-19 concerns. Awards will be available after the fair for individuals and or club or chapter pickup. Awards will be presented at a later date after a thank you note is written by the exhibitor to the donor and brought to the junior fair office or extension office in a stamped, unsealed envelope. The junior fair board reserves the right to have any unmanageable animals removed from the fairgrounds for safety or health reasons. Only 4-H and or FFA livestock exhibitors may participate in the junior fair showmanship class. Contestants must show an animal entered in a junior fair livestock class and must be the bona fide owner. In addition, the animal must remain on exhibit for the entirety of the fair. Participants must participate in the correct age or show class to be ineligible to participate in any showmanship class. Preparation for showing must be done by the owner. Exhibitors may only enter one showmanship class per species with the exception of the pro showmanship and showman-to-showman classes. Pro showmanship winners will be wiped clean every year with no participants remaining from a previous year to the pro showmanship class. Contestants in the novice class may only be first year/time exhibitors in that species, regardless of how many years taken a project within a species. All beef showmanship classes will be held on one day, with all exhibitors from beef breeding, feeder, calf, and steer eligible to participate. Only the 6 age divisions and first year novice A and B winners in 2020 will be eligible for pro showmanship, with the exception of a previous year showman-to-showman winner is still age/exhibit eligible. Exhibitors must show in their current age division with no sitting out a year or moving up to another age division.
in my mind, when it's just so easy and where you have to go. And this class for me among these 4 exhibitors just lines itself up effortlessly. Going to lead off with the young man over here driving the Black Hog. I think one that does just an excellent job throughout the entire drive. From the moment he hit the gate, you know, when you come back in for your overall deal, and especially when I get in behind you, try to make sure that gilt's cleaned up all the time there behind. Utilize that brush that's in your pocket. She kind of went there early on. I never did see you pull it out. That's the one, if I'm being critical somewhere, one thing I need you to improve when you come back out here for me. Second for me is going to be the other young man out here. I really would like you to change how you hold that whip. That's always kind of a pet peeve of mine in terms of when those kids want to hold those like a pencil. You definitely don't get as much drive out of it with that utensil. I prefer you to hold it more like our young man there that leads us off. Just little things like that, and more upright, I guess, than our young man here that leads us off as well. The young lady, one I think has probably maybe done well in the past and certainly can in the future. For me, though, when I got down there on the far end, kind of committed one of those cardinal sins for me in terms of getting between your pig and myself. Just when you go to make that turn, make sure we're going around the head side or wherever you need to be to keep yourself positioned correctly. And then our young man here that goes in 4 doesn't have the same control as some of the others, similar to how he is right now. Got a bit close, ran up on me a few times. Good class here to lead us off this afternoon. Let's give him a hand.
The results for ages 17-18 showmanship are as follows. In 4th place, Austin Barcroft. In 3rd place, Lauren Millot. In 2nd place, Jace Creener. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Colton Boyer.
well, a really good duo here on our top end in this particular drive. As you talk about them, there are similarities and differences among these two. My favorite thing about both of them is just simply pace of their hog. That's where maybe they excel the exhibitors down here in 3 and 4. For me, we have to be able to see these hogs out on the move, and sometimes you don't have the best partner, and we'll talk that on down the line as we get there. But for both of these kids, you can tell they've put in the miles like so many have this summer, and do a tremendous job in terms of getting hogs that can get out and go and have some pace about them, and still utilize their tool relatively effectively, to me, I guess. For where I sort these kids, different styles, different people, different days, but you want showmanship to kind of be a little bit more effortless and still have that same finesse and flair about it, and then being able to hit some more angles. When I went down to my knees here in front of the booth, or squatted down there, what I'm really looking for those kids that are coming out later in the other drives, if I go low or get in that umpire stance, whatever, that's when we're looking to see multiple views of that pig. Be able to drive that one straight at me, straight away from me. I know we have a small or odd-shaped ring here, probably 3 to 1 in terms of our ratio length to width, but I guess try to utilize the ring as best you can. Hit that front shot, make sure you get that rear view. Same thing when you come in the entrance pen. Try to utilize your time. Don't just blow right by me. One that did that just a hair better for him. He's going to be a young lady on the far side. She'll be first. Young man here will be second. Our young ladies here come out in 3 and 4. A young lady comes out driving the white pig. Again, I think one we could talk about being the class winner if we just get a little bit more pace out of that pig. In terms of her style and her demeanor, the angles that she uses her whip at, I like her as good as any in the drive. I just need to see that barrel get out and go a little bit more for her. Again, caution you on those turns. Try not to bring them so tight. That's where our young lady in 4, especially driving a barrel there that maybe doesn't want to drive just as good in terms of structure and foundation. That one, when we get out and see that one go, we definitely need to hit those bigger, wider sweeping turns. That's where I land her down in 4. Our exhibitors come out in 5 and 6. They happen to be the 2 that didn't close their gate. That's not necessarily why they're there. As we go throughout the day today, we will have ring guys helping you. So I did ask them to go ahead and close them. So not a big deal, just one thing to remember, but in terms of just control their pig, they don't have that same look and dimension. The young man's skin and hair in the Duroc is spot on, though. I certainly appreciate that. That's one thing I'm usually pretty hard on, and he's done a great job with that barrel all summer in terms of getting that one fresh and ready in its appearance here for the show today. Just need to be able to see a little bit better control, separate himself from the crowd compared to the others.
Your results for 14 to 16-year-old showmanship are as followed. In 5th place, Taylor Wolf. In 4th place, Julia Thompson. In 3rd place, Cadence Fairchild. In 2nd place, Traden Schumacher. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Brooklyn Gortz.
I have just 2 held back out of this heat. A young lady trying to get her Duroc in there yet, and another one we have penned already. For the 3 that are left out here, you know, I just mentioned skin and hair, and boy, here's one that's right on point, young man's bluegilt. That one sure is shiny, and in terms of skin and hair, it's certainly done a great job all summer. I mentioned in that senior drive, for me, one of those cardinal sins is when you cut between me and that pig, and he's done that a few times for me out here. That's kind of hard for me to get you into the pens to come back for our final go. Aside from that, I think young man's a great stick and done a great job all summer in terms of getting that one ready. Young man with the white one out here, again, not my favorite choice in terms of whips. I can live with it in terms of, you know, if that's what you've worked with all summer, certainly don't switch today just for me. But again, you notice his gilt is one he kind of doesn't get the same response out of as a few of these other kids out here. You know, it's just one of those things in terms of finding the utensil that works for you. I'm not here to advocate sales for anybody, whether it's Weaver or Sullivan's, whoever it is. I don't care. Just find one that works. One, you can reach that pig's snout, drive them up off their face. Young lady, that's one thing I would change even as you come back out today. If we can get rid of that leather flap at times, I knew exactly where you were just because I just had to listen for that leather flap. So some of you guys that are new to the showing pigs thing, that's kind of on the way out. You don't want to make that easy for the judge to be able to hear where you're at all the time. Again, I talked showmanship in that previous heat. One of those things that should just be smooth and effortless. Don't want to draw that extra attention to yourself. Again, just 3 we have back for our final top 5 of this age division. For the 2 that we have left out, you know, for me, the young lady to bluegilt is close. I can tell she knows where she's supposed to be, when she's supposed to be there. I mentioned earlier, this thing's a dance, and you need to have the good partner on the right day. And that gilt's kind of wanting to give her fits and not really listen to what she wants to get out of that one. I can tell she knows her way around the show ring, and that's one that just wants to get out here and kind of giddy up and go on her. I appreciate that about the pig. We just need to be able to have a little bit better interaction when they hit the show ring here. That one's certainly feeling good here tonight, but a nice gilt. We'll certainly be looking for that kind later in the show here tonight. But in terms of our other one, again, just that control standpoint, another one wanting to get out and be fresh and run. I'm not sure what the rules are here regarding exercise in the back, but one thing we always tell our kids that we deal with at different fairs, try to get those pigs up and don't let the show ring be their first experience out here in the last hour or so. But nice to try to get that energy out if you can move them around the barn or outside at all. Certainly helps to prevent some of those issues you may find when you get out here, because I'm certain both those kids have worked hard all summer. Just unfortunate for them here tonight. as we get them all back out here in our final age division. Definitely shook up a little bit in terms of my mind where I had them from their initial drive. Hopefully you guys can hear me back in the barn, or if you're watching on YouTube and on your phones out in the lawn chairs, whatever. But as I mentioned previously, if you cut between me and your pig, you're not going to win today. It is plain and simple. It is that easy. It's one of those things. So if parents, if you're telling them one thing when they come to the ring, don't cross between the pig and the judge. Okay, we tell the wee little ones at 5, 6, 7 years old, think of that pig like the ham sandwich. It's got to be in the middle all the time. Never at any case is that pig not between you and I. For our exhibitors in 3 and 5, that's exactly why they landed there as soon as they did it. So for our ones that we have left out here, I think again, one of those little things. I talk about eye contact a lot when it comes to showmanship, and that's the easy sort for me on these two. I think the young lady driving the Blue Bear did an exceptional job of that throughout the whole drive. She's going to lead us off here. Young lady with the belted one will be second. If I could just get you to dial up the intensity, bring a little bit more of that eye contact, I think you'll be rivals here for a long time and years to come. Both of these young ladies do a great job in terms of getting their hog driven, good pace about them. Again, just need to crank up the intensity there in our exhibitor in second. Young lady that goes in third, I thought she was going to win the drive. Probably, in my mind, the best stick in terms of getting one driven. Again, like I mentioned previously, just need to stay out between your pig and I. And then our exhibitors that come out in 4 and 5 didn't have that same amount of control as some of the others up here today. But a nice way to round us out. Let's still give them a hand as they head back.
Results for 11 to 13-year-old showmanship are as followed. In 4th place, Kinsley Van Dyne. In 3rd place, Callie Cook. In 2nd place, Kendra Walp. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Madison Boyer.
Just 2 we're going to hold back out of this particular heat. For the 3 that are left out here, I mentioned in that previous class among our 1st and 2nd place exhibitors needing to have a little bit better eye contact. Same can be said for these young ones here. And honestly, it's capable, guys, for parents, grandparents, whoever's helping at home. It's one of the most fun things we do all summer is, when these kids are walking pigs, my wife or my dad or somebody's armed with a squirt gun or a bucket of tennis balls, and these kids get a little bit of reinforcement every time they're not looking at us. And it becomes fun, makes the project a good time for everybody, and it gives the parents something to do while the kid's just out in the yard walking pigs. So it can be taught in a second, but they need that reinforcement. It's not just, hey kids, go out to the barn and walk your pigs, get out of the house for a little bit. Okay, the whole family's out there, we're out in the yard together, and we're reinforcing that eye contact all the time. We can teach it to 6-year-olds. I promise we can get it in these 11, 12-year-olds. So just something at home we can be working on before we come out here to the show. Again, much the same as some of those previous classes. You know, we grabbed the young lady there in Pen 5, even though she did cut between me a time or two there in this drive. Among the 3 that were left out, I felt she had the most control of hers. We'll re-talk the top 5 here in a minute. The other young lady was really close for me in terms of making it back, is right here to my right now. I think she did an excellent job in terms of knowing what she wanted that gilt to do. I talked earlier in some of those senior classes about whip placement. Too often you're wanting to get that whip into that middle section of that hog's back for me. It's one of those things that it'll just help you. If we can get nice and low and be able to try to drive that pig up off the bottom side of its snout, be able to get a lot better drive out of a pretty nice gilt there that you're driving. So just little things that we continue to work on. Just whip placement, in my mind, should only ever be on the snout or on the underside of the rear flanks if we need to get them to go. Kind of think about riding a horse, same thing. If you need to pull back on the reins, or if you need to get them underneath, whatever you need, the pigs kind of have that stop and go button. We want them going all the time at that nice, easy pace. But in terms of whip placement, especially when you come back out in your overall showman contest tonight, that's one of those things I try to harp on pretty hard most of the time. But a good group there. We'll resort your top 5. Well, I think our toughest pair to sort the whole show so far in terms of these 2 young, not much separation between them. I stood there for a while waiting to see if either one of these guys would give me a front or a rear view, and honestly, that would have just made one of them win if they'd have done it. But I could talk either one of these guys into winning for me, you know, for where they are and in terms of out here. I love the intensity that both of them bring when they get out here. I think one of them handled their turns just a little bit better for me. That's a young man in solid blue. He's going to be your class winner. Young man driving the belted gilt will be second. You know, young man, they're driving the belted gilt. Certainly nothing to hang your head about losing to this one. You guys are going to battle for a long time, and honestly, I don't ever want to pigeonhole myself, but I think either one of you guys can give these older kids a run for their money when they get back out here. So be interesting when we run your seniors again against these ones. But I'm telling you, older kids, look out, because these 2 are coming for you hot and heavy. Really, really good duo of showmen here. Both of them great stick. Yeah. Young lady here that comes out in 3, again, one that, kind of worked her way up among the others. Her hog is another one that, in terms of that partner scheme, one that just wanted to stop and start too much for her. Young lady certainly knows her way around the ring. And in terms of getting out here, we just need to see that gilt go more often for her. Young lady that comes out in 4 certainly wins maybe the cutest outfit of the night award. I love those pink boots. I want to know where I can get them in about a 13 wide. But, in terms of getting out here and having fun, certainly does a good job. Another one in 4 and 5, though, both these girls, we can work on that eye contact. And like I said in that previous heat, working on that ham sandwich concept, keeping their hog between them and myself. But nice division here.
Results for 8 to 10-year-old showmanship are as followed. In 5th place, Emery Van Dyne. In 4th place, London Moore. In 3rd place, Shelby Bays. In 2nd place, Lane Schuster. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Sam Fairchild.
Really a tough drive, I guess, to find a clear-cut winner. I could talk any of these 3 into where they need to be. You got the young lady in the purple. Her hog's wanting to give her a harder time. Certainly knows what she wants out of it. One that's struggling to get off the rail. Young lady in white with the white hog, white barrow there, maybe cut me off a time or two and got a little bit close at times. Young lady with the belted one, certainly I like the aggressiveness out of yourself and wanting so much from that pig. We just need that pig to listen a little bit better and be able to get out and go for you in the direction that you want it all the time and those things. I said earlier in some heats, skin and hair matters. It's not everything. That does weigh in my mind a little bit in this particular class. I certainly think when they come back out here, I need this exhibitor maybe not touch their pig so much. I'm not a huge stickler on that, but I think the one that just overall best presentation, young lady in the purple will lead us off. Young lady at the white hog will be 2. Young lady at the belted one will be 3.
Results for novice beast showmanship are as followed. In 3rd place, Taylor Breedlove. In 2nd place, Kayla Neese. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Natalie Channing.
Well, typically, that's why I try not to make definite statements, because I said earlier that if you cut between them, you're not going to win. And this heat of young ones, they've all cut between me a time or two, so someone's got to win. But, you know, I visited with a few of them, and you saw me talking through, we got to work on those head turns, and that's from these very novice, first time in the ring, all the way through our senior division. And when we're at home working in the yard, we'll spray paint a figure eight or a butterfly pattern in the grass, and we make those kids walk it with a cone or a camera, somebody being a judge, to where they work on that head turn to where they're never between the pig and the judge. And that's one thing I'd tell all you kids, if you can justify it, at least get a tripod you can set up. It doesn't have to be one of the fancy ones that follow you, but I know not always someone's out in the yard with you, but you're the toughest critic of yourself. So make sure you're watching the replay and knowing what you do each day when you're practicing, because I guarantee you do it at baseball and softball practice or golf practice, whatever it is you're into, you're your best critic and can give yourself the best feedback, because I bet mom and dad can tell you 50 times that you cut between that pig and you say, no, I didn't, okay? Make sure that you're observing yourself and how you go about that. So you saw me trying to coach a few of them here through that. It's just something to work on. Go back and watch this video as you prepare for your projects next year. You know, in terms of showmanship from a breeder standpoint, you know, who do I want to utilize it to show our pigs? It's the one that can get them presented the best. That's where I sort this class. The ones that can just get out here and drive them. Sure, they make a few mistakes, but in terms of having that pig looking the best as often as possible, one that does that best for me is on the exhibitor on the far side driving the white barrel. A young man here driving the other belted barrel will be second. And then in terms of where do you go for third and down, for me, third's going to be a young man out here on the rail. I think early on did a really nice job with that hog. Just wanted to get tangled up on the fence a few times, struggled to get that off of there. Young lady here will be 4, and then the young man with the mullet there, he's going to be 5 for me. Kudos on the haircut, though, man. That looks awesome.
Results for Novice A showmanship are as followed. In 5th place, Baron Walp. In 4th place, Lily Muntis. In 3rd place, Anthony Dawson. In 2nd place, Carson Cook. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Mackenzie Mills. After showmanship, we'll take a 5-minute break and go straight into market class.
Let's put our hands together for each of our winners here today. I think throughout the afternoon, you can definitely see the type and kind of stock kid that I'm looking for, and you know, you get your top 3 out here, and skin and hair is pretty on point for all of them. And I didn't mention it today, but I know parasites have been rough this year, and it's one of those things that it's not everything, but you know, it's part of the swine project and that 4-H component. And it's, you know, these kids are the top end. So for you guys that maybe struggled with some of those management issues, identify who these kids are out here right now, and go back and talk to them in the barn, talk about their summer program, what it looks like, whether it be brand of shavings, all those sort of things, and talk to them, get to know them, make friends with them, guys, because I'm telling you, at least for me, these are the best 3 out here today. So if you don't know who they are, you know, rather than going back and possibly complaining that they did well, make them become one of your best friends, and get to know them and find out what they do. And it's a really unique opportunity when you have kids at the top end like this do just a really, really good job. You know, I talked earlier in terms of some of my pet peeves, and one of those things in terms of cutting me off, and I never saw these exhibitors do that at all throughout their drives, and the intensity is really good among all 3 of them. Pace has been really good out of the pigs, and they're still nice, calm, cool, collected, easy going. That doesn't just happen on accident when you get out here tonight. My sort among these 3, you know, I could talk any one of them into winning the drive for me. Our young man out of that junior division, he's one for me at times. Gets a little bit tight in those turns. When you come back next year, your next show, maybe this winter, I want you to work on taking a bigger, wider sweeping loop when you do that. Our young man with the black one, you know, at times when I got right in behind you, I'm wanting to see that hog get out and go. Don't feel like you ever need to turn. When I get right in behind that pig, only time you'll need to cross ahead of that one is if I start to step out around you. I thought the young lady handled that better. All 3 of them been excellent throughout the whole drive. One just been start to finish, here brought the intensity and kind of the fault-free one. Young lady will be our champion. Older young man be reserved.
Results for pro showmanship are as followed. In 6th place, Mackenzie Mills. In 5th place, Madison Boyer. In 4th place, Natalie Channing. In 3rd place, Sam Fairchild. In 2nd place, Colton Boyer. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Brooklyn Gortz. Market show will start at 5:20. Just a reminder that we need to keep our social distancing and wear our mask when we're in the stands watching. If you're sitting on a blue line, you need to move because you're not supposed to sit in those to help with the social distancing. And if you don't have a kid in the ring, you could leave so that we can get other parents in here that need to watch their kids. Thank you.
Well, especially in a year like this, it's nice when these kids are able to come out and complete their project, even though underweight. And, you know, a young man brings a nice guild out here for the weight she's at. One that obviously wanting to get out here and run, so you appreciate the flexibility about her. You know, as if we were to critique this one, even for her size, if we were to show her against ones that are equally sized, one, we want to see boulder sprung about her rib and just travel maybe a little smoother as she goes away from me there. Certainly appreciate the amount of product that she offers. Nice way here to start off our market show.
Results for non-sale Class 1. In first place, Kai Rollins. Non-sale Class 2 is going in the ring now. Class 1 on deck.
Well, as an outsider, it's certainly not my job to dictate rules in terms of enforce what's what, but I'd highly encourage you guys, talk to your local processors. I'm sure a lot of them want hogs this size, you know, at 292 pounds. The national market, guys, we're moving that way. So I encourage those that have the power or involved above. This is a gilt. I mean, I saw enough of them in showmanship. She's in her top 25 in the fair, probably. Unfortunate for a young man, you know, DQ'd on size, and he knew the rules before he started. But a good pig in terms of one that can get out here and go, offers us a lot of look. I'm not real huge on that. Another one likes to see a little bit bigger cage in, but from a type and kind and design standpoint, that's one we can get excited about. You know, a shame it's just not in the eligibility frame here, but let's give him a hand as he heads back.
Results for non-sale Class 2. In first place, Traden Schumacher. Class 1's going in the ring now. Class 2 on deck.
Well, for me, it's rather obvious which one has to win. That's the young lady's Duroc barrow. That one is easily, in my mind, the best one at this size in terms of one that's fresh-backed and yet still kind of done at this size. You know, we'd like to have hogs that we can project out bigger in a county fair setting where they're all, you know, terminal supposedly on this date. You know, that's the kind that, you know, your packer's going to be the most happy with, your buyer at the end. And yet still gets out here in the show ring, puts all those positives together in terms of feet and legs, one that can get out and go. We'd like that guy to offer us a little bit more look up front, but one that certainly just has to lead off this particular class. Where do you go from there? For me, the one that's just simply the next most done, I'd like to make this one freer as it goes away from me, but the young lady out here to my left, one that just simply offers us more product in comparison with some of the others that we have out here right now. That one to me just follows closest in type and kind with our class winner. Third for me is the one that just simply needs more days on feed. The young lady's gilt here right in front of me. Another one we really appreciate the stoutness of feature that little one possesses. One we just need to see bolder sprung, just get a few more groceries into that one to work up there any higher. And then 4 and 5, you know, for me, between the young lady in the pink and the young man here, again, one that just simply offers us a little bit more look. And in terms of front feet, you'll hear me say it a few times today, that's the easy sort between these two. Young lady with the pink boots, she's going to be 4. Taller young man there will be 5.
Results for Class 1 are as followed. In 5th place, Jace Craner. In 4th place, London Moore. In third place, Jocelyn Moore. In second place, Emma Parsons. And in first place, and congratulations to Jillian Smith. Class 2 is going in the ring now. Class 3 on deck.
Again, really not a clear-cut winner in this particular drive. It's one that puts the most pieces together. I'll be the first to tell you, this one that leads us off, the young lady's black one, we absolutely need to change that one at its knee. That one caves in way too much for me, and I'm really surprised because when you get right in behind that one is so big pinned in terms of its rear set going away, but that one's front knee I absolutely need to fix, but I think it's got enough other stuff going on. Again, not the one that's ready today, so I already talked myself into a hole a little bit compared with that first class. I'd like to obviously see more cover laid on this one and more groceries, but this is one that I think just simply as a show pig has to win the class in terms of putting the most positives together in terms of feet and legs, and that's where you'll hear me staying consistent throughout the day. We got to be able to get out, we got to move, we got to keep them up off the ground on those front feet just a little bit. And second on down the line, guys, I could talk these in any different direction for you in terms of second to fifth. The one that is the most next suitable for me, the young lady out here at the chromed up one. This one for me just gets too jug-headed though, and we need to change that one at its front feet at the ground. But I do appreciate the amount of product that one brings to us as we get out here today. The young lady that goes here next in three, one that just gets a little bit too wax on, wax off for me, I guess, on those rear legs. We want to circle too much in terms of how we track. I do appreciate the fit job and feed bucket on that one. Big fresh back laid into that barrel. We just need to clean that one up through his front 1/3 and secure him as he goes away from us there behind. And then on down the line, the young lady is going to be next in fourth, the over-conditioned one, and one that absolutely needs change in terms of his front feet. The young man there will be 5. The one that we just simply comes in too frail of a package in comparison with some of the others out here. Offers the most look and similarity to our class winner, just runs out of product for me here today.
Results for Class 2 are as followed. In 5th place, Braxton Dawson. In 4th place, Isabella Temple. In 3rd place, Cadence Fairchild. In 2nd place, Amber Harry. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Lauren Malott. Class 3 is going in the ring now. Class 4 on deck.
Well, those of you guys watching from the ringside over here on the video feed, you probably had the best view of this class because we can almost sort this class on top line alone in terms of where do you go with them. Young man, if you'd fire that one up for me again back down there. I think we saw this youngster out here a bit ago in showmanship, and he has a barrow that absolutely has to win the class. I'd love to clean this one up through his throat latch, offer him a bit more shape up high, some raw, true muscle shape. But in terms of getting out in one that's flexible and a good range of motion while still having a really big cage laid in that one, that's the easy class winner for me. That one has to lead us off. And where do you go from there? Again, I had them a few different ways in my mind in terms of some different ones. The one that follows next best for me, this one, it's toe quality. I really need to improve. And a young man doesn't help me out in terms of doing the best job of showing it. But this barrow out here to my left, another one, front 1/3 we need to fix that. I get it. Okay, but in terms of pin set, rear leg, stoutness of feature, that one to me finishes here next best. He's going to be second for us. It's just our class winner coming back out of this one for our tickets. I keep forgetting to tell the staff that up at the desk. So just our class winner coming back on the callback. Young lady out here to my right going to be third. Another one that I think as a baby pig is one that was probably really intriguing. That one offers us all kinds of look. We absolutely have to fix that one in terms of shoulder blade. That one gets way too far forward over at its knee. I love the presentation in terms of back shape, and that one is just incredible there in terms of the amount of shape that one has. I think that actually hinders its movement when it gets out here, though. That one, we need to elevate that one there at its shoulder blade to work up any higher up the line here today. But a nice gilt there to land in 3. And then on down the line in 4, 5, and 6. For me, the young man out there on the side is going to be 4. Another one just from levelness of design, length of hip, length of stride. That one has to work his way up. And then in 5 and 6, going to use young ladies, leaner Meg gilt. The young man will round us out with a little quicker, maturing, overdone one there in 6.
Results for Class 3 are as followed. In 5th place, Dakota Craner. In 4th place, Kai Rollins. In 3rd place, Isabella Temple. In 2nd place, Parker Miller. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Sam Fairchild. Class 4 is coming in the ring now. Class 5 on deck. Just a friendly reminder to make sure you're social distancing and wearing your mask and not sitting on the blue tape lines on the bleachers.
Another challenging class just because there's not that one that reaches out and grabs a hold of you. I think just off the precedent we've set and where I'm headed today, the one that needs to lead us off is going to be the young ladies on the far side. From a look and design standpoint, this one has to lead us off. I absolutely need to see this one come with a bigger cage and get some more groceries into that one. Make it bolder about that rib cage and deepen it in its flank. We need to just see that one have a more overall body cavity. But from a structure and design standpoint, that one has to lead us off. Unfortunately for the young man with the black yield, he's going to land in two. One that, unfortunately, as he came to the fair here, picked up an injury coming off the trailer. I told him I've been there before. It's one of the toughest ththings. You work hard with that project all summer, and he's done a great job. Honestly, I'm impressed. He's got her going as good as he does out here and doctored up. I've been through that process before, and it's a rough one, but I encourage you to come back stronger and harder next year, and good luck to you there in the future. Just know accidents happen, and certainly did a nice job with your pig. She's just not sound enough out here for us today to lead off this particular class. Third for me is going to be the other young man here coming toward me. One we just simply need to see bigger and more massive. We need a bigger hip blade in that one. But for me, in comparison with the hog that lands in Florida blue one out here, that one for me is just too small and kind, and we absolutely need to change that one in terms of its front feet. We talked a few of those in those lighter weights as well, and easy way to sort those in terms of we need to change those front feet on them.
Results for Class 4 are as followed. In fourth place, Gavin Bishop. In third place, Wade Traxler. In second place, Garrett Bishop. And in first place, and congratulations to Jocelyn Moore. Class 5 is going in the ring now. Class 6 on deck.
I mentioned earlier in showmanship about skin and hair being a pet peeve of mine, and we finally have one of those examples out here. It's actually going to be our class winner, though. Young ladies, belted barrow off to my right, one that has to lead us off here. And guys, I encourage you, I don't know if it's her first or 10th year in 4-H, whatever the case is, I encourage you to keep in touch with your breeders, guys, because this is one that, just tweaked a little bit. We might be talking about this one at the end of the night in terms of your champion overall if we changed a few things. That one needs to come at us in a slicker throat, obviously a bit better skin and hair, but that one is so wide-based and so stout and so rugged. I'd like to see him bigger and kind, when we're talking about that end of the night type of thing. thing. But that is one that has those extras that we're all striving for as breeders right now. I'd maybe like to pick him up there on his front feet just a little bit, but that one has a lot of extras. Absolutely has to lead off this particular class. And where do you go from there? You know, the young lady driving the spotted pig on the far side, you know, certainly not the one that offers us the most look or design even in terms of that front third, but the next one that offers us just the stoutness and overall mass. I need to square that one up underneath going away to match all that it has up high in comparison with our class winner. But for me, the logical one there to stand in second. Young lady with the heavier muscled one here is going to be third. I love the back shape this one has in it, similar to one we had in third earlier. We need to elevate that one in the point of its shoulder, make it better there. It could certainly rival our class winner. Going to round out the class with the other young lady there in 4. One that just doesn't offer the same shape up high in comparison with some of the others. That one we just need to see come at us a bit fresher package. Again, stouting that one up in terms of feature, change it on those front feet to work up any higher.
Results for Class 5 are as followed. In 4th place, Shelby Bays. In 3rd place, Amelia Carmack. In 2nd place, Mallory Bishop. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Taylor Breedlove. Class 6 is entering the ring now. Class 7 on deck.
First time I dropped some into some pens throughout the market drive here, and I guess one of those turning points in the show where hopefully it just continues to get better from here. We have two we're going to reserve on callback here for the end of the night. I think a nice pair here at the top end. Different though, not the same kind of hog. You know, you got the young ladies, more power hog, one that's extra stout, opened up, huge chest floor in that one. Stays good at its knee there when it comes right at you. That's where I kind of fault the young man's, although his is maybe better going away. It's a little bit narrower compared to the young ladies. Hers at time maybe wants to step outside itself. I think a little bit of that is more of a presentation issue than a structure issue, because from pin to hock to ground, I think that one settles into itself just fine. The young man's, for me, just gets simply too narrow to talk about being our class winner. For that alone, young lady's going to lead us off. Young man will be second. Coming out of third, one that's more like the hog there, and two, one that's nice and elevated and offers us enough shape. That one, again, one that just gets narrower for me at the ground coming off of both ends. We need to bust that one open. We could talk about that one working up the line and make that one just simply bigger in terms of foot and feature. Change that one there at its knee a little bit. Our young lady that comes out of four with the really moderate, little powerful one, that one is extra big backed. One we just simply need to make bigger and kind. I need to see that one taller, change that one in terms of its cannon, elevate that off the ground, but one you can certainly appreciate for the raw power that it possesses. Same can be said for the young man that comes out here in five. One just gets plainer in its makeup. Another one we absolutely need to change at its knee. Really love the freshness that barrow has out here today, though.
Results for Class 6 are as followed. In 5th place, Gavin Bishop. In 4th place, Emery Van Dyne. In 3rd place, Molly Jones. In 2nd place, Anthony Dawson. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Callie Cook. Class 7 is entering the ring now. Class 8 on deck.
always one of those tough decisions in terms of when you hit one of those classes, you think you got a couple of them that are in your top 10, and where do you go? And you got to be able to see the second one again. And you know, at times they're walking okay out here right now, but they come back in the grand drive and maybe they tighten up and can't go, and then that poor kid standing in the second's been pigeonholed behind them. So I promise you that weighs on my mind when I go to talk about your class winner here. And I'm not sure where we're at in terms of weight, but we have two very different looking pigs at your top end, both equally good in their own right. The young man's Guild is one that we need to see that one bolder about her rib. I absolutely need to fix her out of that right rear. If we can change that and make her just go, plant and drive with more authority, guys, that's one that can be a changer. Whether you're talking about market hogs or breeding gilts, I'm not sure if this deal went terminal or partial, whatever the thing is. That's one that you might want to consider breeding if you have the opportunity, or if you have her mother still around. That's one I'd be excited about. I know she can make a great one. For me, that one's rear leg just isn't good enough today. I have to use the young man here to lead us off. I'd like to see this one come with a shot more power. That's where I fault this barrel. I'd like to see, just give him a shot more true muscle shape. But for me, in terms of rear leg and one that can get out and go and be able to come back out in our grand drive and have a chance to play for the overall, that's the kind that we need to have them be able to go all night long for me. This one is not as cute, not as attractive in terms of its front end as our one that falls here in 2, but in terms of knee and forearm, one that's extra bold there, I really appreciate that one, can get out and stride. Again, young man that falls in second, I'm not sure if it just happened here at the fair, if she's been that way at home all year for you. We changed that right rear. I think I'm talking about that one at the end of the night. I absolutely love her, just need to change that one thing about her. Young man that falls here in 3. Another one from just a style and look standpoint I really, really appreciate. One that when you get right in behind it doesn't come with the same mass up high as those top 2. I need to make this one wider in its pin set, give it a shot more muscle up high to rival those top 2 in the class. Our hog that goes out in 4, another one, this gilt just wanting to labor her way around the ring. We need to elevate her out and make her level out of that front end as well, but one that offers us a ton of muscle and product. Same for the others as they go out. The young lady's just one that's a bit over conditioned for me. We need to clean that one up in its lower 1/3 to work up any higher on down the line. Thank you.
Results for Class 7 are as followed. In 5th place, Riley Cantleberry. In 4th place, Ellie Stevens. In 3rd place, Carson Cook. In 2nd place, Lane Schuster. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Colton Boyer. Class 8 is in the ring now. Class 9 on deck.
Again, not really, the depth of quality isn't in this class like we had in some of our previous ones. I think we still find a nice one to land on to lead us off. Young lady's blue one. I need to see this one a bit taller at the point of her shoulder, but I think this one offers us a lot of those extras in terms of just soundness of feature and still has enough in terms of bone and foot size. I'd like to make it bigger there, obviously. If we could make this one bigger in its forearm, it's one I could get kind of excited about. We need to change her there just to make her compare with some of those previous class winners. But for me, she's the most complete, most balanced one. She has to lead us off. Young lady's Duroc barrel that goes here in 2. Another one that is absolutely busted open. Love that about it. When that one comes right at me, for one to be that big chested and stay good at its knee, I absolutely love that about it. That one, if you're sitting ringside, you may not be able to appreciate, but that one is extra big back. Doesn't have the same fit job as some of those others we saw today. For me, where that one disappoints is when you get right in behind it, wants to really want to stab on those rear 2. We make it more comfortable there. We can certainly talk about that one being our class winner. Coming out in 3 and 4, hogs that are really similar. Young lady's blue-headed one. We absolutely appreciate from the look and balance that this one has. We need to change this one on all 4 corners. Wants to get coon-footed up there in the front. Wants to bring those hocks in as it goes away from me. Just need to change it on those feet to work up any higher. The young lady that goes here in 4, another one that offers us so much mass and a big, fresh type of package. And when you look at that one up, its back shape is just crazy good and super stout featured. But when we get them so stout featured, we give up other things like the joints, and for me, that one gets too coarse jointed on its hocks as well as up there in those pasterns. That one really wants to cave there. We have to change that to work up there any higher. And our hog on down the line, one that just simply doesn't have the same amount of horsepower, overall shape and look in comparison with some of those ahead of it here today.
Results for Class 8 are as followed. In 5th place, Baron Walp. In 4th place, Emma Montgomery. In 3rd place, Madison Boyer. In 2nd place, Mallory Bishop. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Molly Jones. Class 9 is going in the ring now. Class 10 on deck.
interesting pair here at the top end. I think one hog is truly better from a potential standpoint, and I think one certainly had a better feed bucket as we rolled into fair here. And it's sometimes unfortunate or fortunate, depending which side of that you're on. You know, at times, the two top pigs for me, I'll tell you how I sort them. Just to talk one first, the young lady's white one here is one I think that one had a really good feed bucket on it. When you get right up on top of that one is really, really fresh in terms of its muscle shape. That one has extra sharpness there to its loin edge and still stays big about its rib cage. I really appreciate that one. As the drive goes on, it gets hotter and hotter in here. That one's wanting to maybe start to come apart a little bit, but young lady's done a nice job keeping her cool, keeping that one going. You know, I'd like to see that one with a bit more pace, as I mentioned, in showmanship. But one, and if we're talking critical things on that one, I need to see that one stouter and bigger about its foot size. That's where the other young ladies is better, you know, from a stoutness, a feature standpoint. Hers doesn't have that same shape today. More the gilt breeding piece in the class. Again, I mentioned that earlier in another drive. This is one that's really intriguing from the gilt side of things. For me, in a market hog show here today, just doesn't have that sharpness and extras that she needs to be our class winner. Young lady's white one's going to lead us off. Other young lady will land in second. Our hog that goes here in third, for me, this one, if we could just pull it apart at the ground and give it a bit more shape in comparison with those two ahead of it, this one just simply, when you get right up on top of it, up high, that one just doesn't come at us today at this weight with as much as those top two, but a really nice, sound, complete hog there to land in three. Our young lady here that comes out in four, another one, a really powerful type of gilt out here for us today. This one, for me, from a stoutness of feature standpoint alone, this one gets frailer in terms of that rear leg, not as secure in where she wants to put them. And again, another one that needs cleaned up there in that front 1/3 to work up the line any higher. Young man's Berkshire appearing one here that comes out of 5. Really nice, growth-oriented type of pig. Appreciates productivity in this one. Another one that just simply needs more shape in comparison with its peers out here today.
Results for Class 9 are as followed. In 5th place, Austin Barcroft. In 4th place, Madison Boyer. In 3rd place, Lillian Muntis. In 2nd place, Emma Parsons. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Kayla Neese. Class 10 is in the ring now. Class 11 on deck.
Well, guys, that one needed about 3 steps in the ring, and it has to go to pen 1. If you can't see that sitting ringside, open your eyes. That one's easily among the top ones we've seen today. I'm not saying it's the best one, but guys, it's right up there. That one in a smoke show wins this class. That one has to lead us off. There's so many extras, so much good about that one. It's extra stout featured and still stays good on its toes, extra square, big long stride in that one, extra attractive up front. Take a picture of that kind all day, put them online, that nice blue color. Oh my goodness, guys, we could make a mountain of money if we had them all look like that. Extra good kind of show gilt there to lead off this particular class. Young lady that lands in 2, and ladies, we're only going to bring back the 1 out of this class. So the young lady here that lands in 2, 1 for me, I guess, just need to change that one in terms of its shoulder set. That one wants to roll its blade a little bit too far forward for me, and then it starts to come apart underneath in terms of its knee and foot where it wants to plant. Gets rounder off of both ends. We square that one up. Could maybe talk about making the cut to come back here later as well. The young lady that comes out in 3rd, hers is better in that regard in terms of squareness of hip. For me, this one, though, in terms of overall shape and mass and power, doesn't match in comparison with the 2 that we had ahead of it. Again, another one, if we just bulk that one up a little bit, and then, again, as that one goes away from me, kind of wants to come apart there. Wants to step outside itself ever so slightly, change that, a couple things. We can talk about that one coming up higher as well. Our pigs that come out in 4 and 5, ones that are just plainer in their overall makeup. I appreciate the elevation that this barrel has at the point of his shoulder. Again, another one, it's not everything, guys, but skin and hair, we need to get a little bit better there in terms of just overall presentation to match all you've done such a good job feeding that one. We need to take those little bit of extras as we get out here for the show today. But a really high caliber type of carcass type barrel to be rolling out there in 4. And then the young ladies that goes in 5, again, one's just narrower at the ground, kind of follows suit all the way up.
Results for Class 10 are as followed. In 5th place, Kayla Neese. In 4th place, Taylor Breedlove. In 3rd place, Amelia Carmack. In 2nd place, Callie Cook. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Carly Walt. Class 11 is in the ring now. Class 12 on deck.
Well, again, kind of one of those easy ones to land on. Young man's belted gilt in the center of the ring has to lead us off. I'll be the first to tell you I want to change that one in terms of its pattern set and make her a little bit stronger there. offer a bit more feature afoot, but from a balance standpoint, that one to me in terms of finish, being ready here today at the Richland County Fair, that one is the best combination package type of gilt. Easily has to lead this class off. Young man's gilt, the blue bud here, one for me. I guess, I mentioned the belted one is the one that's the most ready. One of those instances, I think the blue one might have been a better pig as we started this project. That blue one to me, though, it looks like one we've had to sit on to kind of get in here to weight you wanted today. That one, I just simply need to see more groceries. I'd love to see her pushing that 285 max. That's one, make her softer, change her ham loin to hook up, give her a bit more groceries. One we could get really excited about. Young lady that goes in third, certainly better in terms of that rib shape and flank and fill as the young man that goes in two. Another one, though, just in terms of those front feet, starts to roll on those front feet for me. Another one, again, as it goes away, just kind of gets a little bit of that wax on, wax off, doesn't really know where to put those rear two. That's where the young man that comes out in four, his gilt is absolutely better there than the one that goes in three. One for me, though, just far too hard in terms of feed bucket, too much in terms of that ham loin hookup. I need to make that one softer and smoother all the way throughout to work up any higher. And the young man that rounds us out in five, similar to one we had earlier. I love the production and the growth that this hog looks and has and possesses. One that just doesn't have that extra show ring appeal in terms of all the extras in terms of shape and fluff and fit that goes into them. But one that I think as that one goes to the rail, a really nice type of hog.
Results for Class 11 are as followed. In 5th place, Jarrett Burr. In 4th place, Brock Mills. In 3rd place, Ellie Stevens. In 2nd place, Sam Fairchild. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Baron Walt. Class 12 is in the ring now, 13 on deck.
Well, I know we're not in showmanship anymore, but just to beat that drum a little bit more as a breeder, we push showmanship extra hard because I think we win some hog shows that maybe we shouldn't because we have some tremendously good sticks to show for us. And the same can work against you. If you can't get that hog driven, maybe you don't give it as good a presentation. It makes it easier for me to find some of the holes in that one when it's not out here driving all the time. I think we have a great stick that leads off this particular class, the easy class winner. I'd like to see this young man's gilt stouter in terms of her feature, maybe change her just a little bit on those front feet. But this is the balanced, easy one that has to lead us off. Just an excellent type of show gilt out here. One that's extra attractive in terms of her design. Big long hip, big long stride on that one. Like that one a lot. Just like to see her come in a stouter package. Second for me is going to be a young lady out here in the orange plaid. Not the one that maybe hits you if you're sitting ringside, but when you get right up on top of it in comparison with the other that falls down the line, I think this one offers us a bit more just in terms of true back shape and natural width that it possesses. You know, in terms of being able to balance and carry all that, I certainly do like the young lady that comes here in third in terms of look and design. If we could just take a picture of that one, I'd be happy to do so all day. But for me, when we put that one in motion, just gets too short-strided off of both ends. That one must start to come apart in terms of those back feet. I need to see that one just plant and go with more authority to work up any higher. But love the look that one possesses. Just need to be able to put her in motion better. Then the young man that goes here in 4 just kind of runs out of gas in terms of raw horsepower and actual product there laid into that pig in comparison with the ones ahead of it.
Results for Class 12 are as followed. In 4th place, Brock Mills. In 3rd place, Kinsley Van Dyne. In 2nd place, Morgan Cook. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Lane Schuster. Class 13 is in the ring. Class 14 on deck.
tough class here. Definitely some pieces and parts. We'll keep all three of these on standby, ladies, as we come back for the night. Really have some interesting pieces here. I think any of these hogs have the capability of landing toward that top end at the end. We have, you know, maybe the best show pig in the group. For me, it doesn't hit me as hard as some of those earlier today, but the one that just simply puts the most pieces, I'm not going to single trade it. I'd like to pull this one back together behind, but the young man's blue one, it has to lead this class off. That one offers us a lot of extras in terms of so much width. It's right on the fringe, though, guys. That one's borderline too much for me behind. That one gets so big pinned, I need to see it stays truer and squarer as that one goes to the ground. If you're feeding back in the barn, I'd pull the feed bucket on that one. She looks a little bit over full to me, maybe not quite as comfortable out here in terms of some of those others that we've seen earlier in the different heats. Second for me, going to go with the young man's red hog. That one is, the more basic in terms of its build. Doesn't offer us all that mass and the extras. The young man drove a nice one out there in Class 1 as well. To make red hogs that are that sound and as good at their knee, I really appreciate that about him. Young man that goes third, one we really appreciate on the profile. When we settle in right behind that one, doesn't have as much up high in comparison to two above it. And again, kind of tracks narrower at the ground as that one goes away. In 4, 5, and 6, we can bring all three of these out here together. Hogs that are similar in terms of type and kind. Appreciate the growth about them. Young ladies, one that maybe wants to come apart at that front shoulder, make that one a notch taller fronted. We could certainly talk about working her up the line. There's a lot of extras in that rear 2/3 I like about that gilt. We just need to change her up there in her front end. Then the other two young men, there's are ones that get a little bit heavier conditioned as we get to these heavier weights. Need to trim them up to get any higher today.
Results for Class 13 are as followed. In 5th place, Trent Rodman. In 4th place, Shelby Bays. In 3rd place, Jarrett Burr. In 2nd place, Ben Smith. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Jack Stevens. Class 14's in the ring now. Class 15 on deck.
Another really exciting one to lead our class off. Young ladies, predominantly black one here going across the ring now. She's going to easily win this class for me. This is one that just offers us so many extras in terms of look and skull and balance and build and length of hip and a lot of those positives we can talk about. I'm anxious to get this one back out against some of those other contenders. And for you kids backstage, you know, again, I mentioned earlier, find these young people that have ones that are extra good or find the breeders that are helping them. And I'm telling you guys, shag is in. I didn't harp on it too much in showmanship, but I saw a lot of short hair out here. I know it's legal and we're in and we made the grade and all that. But I'm telling you, from a look standpoint, this is what we're after, and that doesn't happen on accident. That's hours of brushing, some time out in the sun or the tanning bed, whichever option you choose. But guys, it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to make one look that pretty. Young lady's done a tremendous job with that one this summer. Anxious to see how the rest of her night goes. Young lady that lands in 2 doesn't have all the extras and all the look and all the fluff as our class winner, but when we break it down from a skeleton, that one has to get up here toward the top end. That one for me, again, another one. I just like changed feed bucket on coming into the show today. That one needs to be softer in her makeup. I think it would free her up behind, offer just a bit more squareness as she hits the ground, but a nice gilt there to stand in 2. As we go on down the line in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all 3 of these white ones, and I don't care on color, guys. You may think we haven't really had a white one hit me real hard today, but for me, all 3 of these get narrow at the ground, they come in at their knee, and because of that, they're not as able to carry as much shape and expression up high as some of those others that we've had today. We just need to pull these ones apart from the ground up to work up any higher on down the line.
Results for Class 14 are as followed. In 5th place, Logan Cronenwit. In 4th place, Lillian Muntis. In 3rd place, Mackenzie Mills. In 2nd place, Taylor Wolf. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Morgan Cook. Class 14's entering the ring now. Class 15's entering the ring now. Class 16 on deck.
Really good duo here on our top end. One of the tougher breaks we've had in a while in terms of just sorting them and getting your class winner. Neither of these are perfect in my mind, and I'm really surprised in terms of within one weight class because they look about 25 pounds apart to me. I'm not sure young ladies was shrank back a little more than young man's. One's a little truer, and it really that's whether it's the fact or fiction. And when they get out here, that's how I read them. I read one hog being a bit fresher here today, one maybe being a bit staler in terms of makeup, and then that one that I read being a bit staler as the drive goes on. I worked these two a little bit longer and I left them both out. I wanted to see how they'd hold up. For me, the young ladies, as the drive goes on, that one wants to get a bit more circular in terms of that right rear and range of motion, not planting and going as well as it did when it first hits a ring. Young man's is a sounder, simply the better one for me. He's going to lead us off. Young lady will be 2. Young man that comes out here in 3, this is one that, oh my goodness, we absolutely love the shape and all those power and all that. But guys, we got to be able to keep them moving underneath of them. This one, for me, just feet and legs, we absolutely need to correct there. This one gets way too soft up front, and then to pack on that much muscle, a really, really hard place to land there. The more basic one does come out in 4. I grant you, this one's better on its feet than that hog that goes there in 3. I thought that blue one just had so many extras in terms of bone and mass. That one had to beat the white one that here lands in 4.
Results for Class 15 are as followed. In 4th place, Ethan Dawson. In 3rd place, Jack Stevens. In 2nd place, Kendra Walp. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Colton Boyer. Class 16 is going in the ring, 17 on deck.
Again, I said it in that last class, and it's kind of the same in this one. Just simply win, the one that wins here kind of does so on freshness, ready today, and it's not the most youthful in appearance either. I just think among the ones we have offered in terms of ones that are ready, fit for the show ring, offer this best combination, levelness at top, bone, mass, all those things we talked about. Young lady's white one out here to my left has to lead us off. I'd like to change that one up there on his front feet, certainly, give him not so much cushion there, but I think he's still, even though he's down on those feet a little bit, he still maintains really tall shouldered. I certainly appreciate that about him. Love the elevation and look that guy possesses in that front 1/3. And again, I think just from a feed and fit and readiness standpoint, that one has to lead us off. Young lady's calico is going to go in 2. This is the one for me. It gets a little bit crestier up there in terms of that neck and blade and doesn't want to tie everything together just as well. But oh my goodness, in terms of the rib cage and just mass and big, huge pin set on that one, you absolutely appreciate a lot of pieces that one has to offer. Just would have liked to see him maybe a week or 2 ago. Young lady that goes in 3rd. Love all the power and mass that this one has. One that just simply needs to be freer and go better off those rear 2. Take a bigger stride, just plant and go a bit better for me. Young man that lands in 4, his absolutely does that. I love how this one can get out and has great range of motion. For me, though, this one just runs out of gas in terms of all the extras. Doesn't have near as much mass or bone and footwork, all those things in comparison to 3 ahead of it. Young man's done a great job getting it ready here for the show today, but at times that one wants to get a little bit tighter in terms of the back too. When we see that one out on the side, again, I'm not sure if it's the whip placement on that one or what it is, but at times that one just wants to bunch up, get a little bit tighter spine, get that one to relax. Could certainly talk about him getting up there toward the top of the class. Young lady that goes in 5, one of our lighter muscled ones, again, doesn't have all those extras in terms of show ring look and pizzazz, but one that we appreciate from a length of hip and skeletal standpoint. We just need to see that one have some more true power.
Results for Class 16 are as followed. In 5th place, Emma Montgomery. In 4th place, Carson Cook. In 3rd place, Emery Van Dyne. In 2nd place, Natalie Channing. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Cadence Fairchild. Class 17's in the ring. We'll take a 10-minute break and then go right into the drive.
Again, it takes more than just simply walking a pretty blue one in the ring for me to get excited, but this kind of, I can get like a lot of things about it. It's not as good as some of those other blue ones we saw earlier in the day. This one just doesn't read as fresh and pretty there out of its neck, but oh my gosh, there's so many extras. This one in terms of rib cage and stoutness and feature, there's a lot of really good. I just like to change this one in its front 1/3, change her just a little bit there, but that's an extra good type of show gilt. That's one that could go on and generate. I'm blown away by the amount of good gilts I've seen come here. As a breeder, it's one of those things I always cringe when you roll into the county fair with a gilt. Everybody knows the risk you run here in the state of Ohio. If you go one of those top two, she's probably not coming home for you. So there's been a number of them out here, but that one suits me awfully well. Has to lead off this particular class. Young man's black one that goes in second. Another one, see it a weight class or two ago. If we could have shrunk that one back on the scales and maybe make it just fit in a little bit better where it needs to be in terms of its skeleton size, we can talk about that one possibly winning a class, because that one has a lot of balance and productivity, just look about it. That one, in terms of raw amount of power and compared with that class winner, just simply doesn't have it to overpower that blue one that goes ahead of it here today. Basic in its build. We just need to see that one come with more true shape and power to compare with that blue one out here for me. The two black ones that go next, I'm going to utilize the young man's next. This one, if we could get that one fit and pretty looking, it might look a little bit different. But that's one, in terms of its muscle shape, gets a little bit tighter in terms of pattern for me. Takes a little bit tighter step, especially out of that right rear. But I love how wide base that one is, busted open coming right at me. That's where he excels the young lady's barrel that goes in 4. For me, hers just wants to close at the ground and kind of follow suit all the way up top. But a nice way to round us out. We're going to take a little intermission here, about 10 minutes or so, before we come back for our grand drive. We'll give that last pig a chance to rest. But great job so far tonight, everybody.
Results for Class 17 are as followed. In 4th place, Julia Thompson. In 3rd place, Chad Wolf. In 2nd place, Trayden Schumacher. And in 1st place, and congratulations to Brooklyn Gwurtz. We'll start the final drive at 7:05. Just a reminder, make sure you're wearing your mask and practicing social distancing. So that means if you're sitting on a row with blue tape. Thank you.
Well, just to avoid some of the chaos and maintain the social distancing as best we can, we went ahead and sifted down to 8. I'm not saying that they're your top 8. I'm not even telling you they're in any kind of order yet. We're going to let these 6 exhibitors head back to the gate. So if you were stuck behind one of these kids, guys, your night is over at this point. But if you're second behind one of these, we got held back. Certainly stay. If you got the ticket, stay on standby. Let's congratulate each of these class winners as they head back to the barn. Kids, if we can shut these pigs down, try to find your own space, just so I can talk through them here just a little bit. I'm about 100% certain that I'm not going to make it through this without crying tonight, so I know on YouTube my buddies will be making fun of me and all that stuff. But first and foremost, let's put our hands together for the staff here, put this event together for you kids. Excellent in terms of being able to pull this off under the current conditions, and it's nice to simply get out and see people again and come out of hiding, I guess. But in terms of pigs, guys, if you can get them away from each other, just kind of find your own space there. And you know, at the intermission between showmanship and the show, I had a fellow out near the restroom there ask me how I got into this, and I didn't give him a real long response because I wanted to save it for now. And at 14 years old, just to date myself a little bit what era we were in, parents, you know, I was skateboarding every day, had orange hair, and wore my Jinko jeans down around my knees. And it took, so that was back about probably circa 1999, 2000, somewhere in there. It was in, I promise, the real Slim Shady type deal. And then I went to the fair one year, and I noticed your wall over here. You guys have some people that have helped get your fair off to the right start as well, and sometimes we forget about those guys. Well, tonight in Portage County, Ohio, I had to skip out on a celebration of life for my judging team coach, which is at our fairgrounds here tonight. Mr. Dan Tronge, inducted in the Ohio 4-H Hall of Fame, touched countless kids in terms of the effort and help he gave them. And the one thing that he always taught us that I try to pass on to all the kids that show for us, there's no excuse to ever lose showmanship. No matter what happens. In the Market Grand Drive, hey, it might take some money, it might take a nice barn, it certainly takes a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears, as you all know that are here. But in terms of the showmanship, there's never an excuse to lose. And he worked with me countless times on my steers, and you know, we got to that point. You want those calves to walk right into their stance, and it takes a little bit extra work. You want these hogs to drive with their head up, it takes a little bit extra work. And honestly, if it wasn't for Mr. Tronge, I might have been a pro skateboarder, I don't know. But at that time, gave me a little direction and got back into the livestock a little bit heavier. And I owe a great deal of credit to him. And you have the same people here. You got them on the wall, and you got them standing here in the block behind us, guys. It took a tremendous group of volunteers and backstage in the barn, especially in a year like this. Don't let these folks go without thanks. Make sure you mail them a card. If it's a month from now, I don't care. But try to get to these volunteers. They're not getting paid for this. They're here out of the goodness of their heart. Most of them walked through this very same ring that you are tonight. I hope that you can continue to carry it on for future generations. But I'd be remiss. It's with a heavy heart that I had to skip out on that, seeing a lot of my old friends that I showed with, but I wanted to tell his story, and you know, if one of you advisors can help out one kid, just know that you made a difference. So we'll fire the pigs back up. It's between three of them, guys. I made it obvious. If you follow my eyes, we'll get them fired back up. I'll go out and get you a grand champion.
Your grand champion Market Hall goes to Carly Walt.
I got long-winded telling you about myself. I forgot to tell you why those three are the good ones. But that young lady's blue one that ran out, that one just hits me extremely hard. I wish we could get a better drive out of it out here in the Grand Drive. But that is the one that to me is so big in terms of that rear foot, offered us so many extras. To me, that one just simply had to win. And then, you know, the other two that it comes down to for me, you know, the young man's solid black one, that's one in class. Maybe didn't hit me just as hard, but when it gets out here in the Grand Drive, that's one that puts a lot of the basics, a lot of the pieces together. And being solid black, it is harder to see. My friends give me a hard time because I usually feeder pig that kind just on color alone, but they're usually a lot cheaper to the kids that want to buy them. So, you know, I give you credit for showing a solid black one. You know, when you get out here, it takes me a little bit longer to see it because just on color alone, it doesn't pop like some of those others. If you break that one down, it's got the same look, elevation as that champion. It's one that follows second best for me. He's got your reserve.
Your reserve champion Market Hall goes to Colton Boyer.
Before our grand drive, I was telling the ring crew I kind of knew which three it was, and in my mind, the one that ends up third is the one I thought we were going to lead things off with here tonight as we came back out for the grand drive, though I love the silhouette of this one, but as we get back out here, just wants to stab harder and push harder off of that right rear. Young lady's black one with the white blaze is going to be your third overall.
Your third overall Market Hall goes to Morgan Cook.
Not to take anything away from that second in class as we drop it in. There's another one that hit me extremely hard today. If we could just make this one a bit softer and freer in its makeup, we might have been talking about it for the overall young man's blue one's got your next best.
Your 4th overall market hog goes to Jack Stevens.
I mentioned in my spiel there how much showmanship matters, and if nothing else, I hope these kids learned one thing from me tonight on showmanship. Don't burn these pigs out, especially when you got to show back to back to back to back like we did tonight. If that judge isn't looking right at you, don't be afraid to park that thing and find a spot, because we get out here in our grand drive and a lot of these pigs maybe aren't looking as sound and good as they did earlier, and that's where they start coming apart. But as we go to get your 5th next best one, the one that kind of stayed together for me, didn't have all the extras, all the fluff that some of the others, young lady driving away from me's got your 5th best.
Your 5th overall market hog goes to Callie Cook.
So we talked that young man's in class one, just needed to change on his front feet a little bit. I still feel that one may not be good enough there, and compared with some of the others we have out. Another one, guys, I'm not always a sucker for blue ones. It just happened that these three were a little bit better tonight. Young lady's got the next best one.
Your 6th overall market hog goes to Brooklyn Gwurtz.
We bring the young man 2nd place out of that class back in. They were really close in class, and I mentioned if he was a class or two lower, he probably would have won the class. For me, that one follows next best. He's got your 7th.
Your 8th place overall market hog goes to Traden Schumacher.
Well, again, folks, I know we're going to lose our crowd as we wrap things up here, but it has absolutely been my pleasure. Glad to make the trip here. Only an hour and a half from home. Kind of surprised I've never been down here to watch this fair, but I was here for a jackpot show once upon a time, a few years ago, I think. But really great facilities, great staff. My thanks to them for having me. My thanks to Dad at home for hopefully keeping all the baby pigs alive while I'm here doing this, and my wife at our house for taking care of things there and allowing me to get out on the road to do this. I appreciate it so much and all they do for me at home. As we get out here, you heard me preach it all day in terms of soundness and structure and ones that can still get out and go into Grand Drive. They don't always have to be the most powerful and any of those extras. The one still gets out here in Motorstorm. We're going to slide into our ace spot. Young man in the orange got it.
Eighth place champion Market Hog goes to Colton Boyer.